Wait, what? That's so cool. Oh. Come on, little buddy! Hey guys, welcome in. Hope you're all doing well. Today we are here for episode 12 of Witch Hat Atelier, which is entitled The Shadow of Romonon. And oh my gosh, I am so sad that it's coming to an end soon. I have enjoyed Witch Hat Atelier so much. Like, it wound up being so much more than I ever thought it was going to be in the absolute best way possible. I'm so glad I picked it up, and I'm very sad that it's gonna be ending soon. Like, every episode has just been so good thus far, and I cannot wait to continue the story. Like, season 2 cannot come quickly enough. I need like at least a 24 episode season 2 for Witch Hat Atelier. Like, please make it happen. Anyways, we are going to hop into the episode in just a moment here, but as always, just a reminder, I do have Patreon. For just $5 you can get early access to the full uncut versions of all of my reactions, and it does also go quite a long way in terms of supporting me as a creator. So if you are curious, go ahead and check out the link down below in the video description box. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into episode 12 of A Witch Hat Atelier. It's like we're grilling some fish. Cavernation of Romonon. Okay. Delicate magic. Oh, that's gorgeous. Ooh, that's so pretty. Wow. Ah, okay. Oh, cool visual. As always, love the visuals. Wow. Their judgment on each other. Oh. Oh, dang. Oh my god. Gold statues to decorate their city. Oh. Wow. Whoa, dang. Under the weight of its own gold. Whoa, damn. Holy crap, we are definitely coming back to that to talk about it at the end of this episode, because that, oh my gosh, I love history lessons. I love it when Qifrey gives us a history lesson in this series, because wow, that was fascinating. Are terrifying creatures. Yep, they certainly can be. This is also true. Dude, Qifrey's spitting facts right now. That's also true. Ideally, yes, it should be. Yeah. Aww. Oh, oh my gosh. Ah! Oh my god, dude, okay, I'm sorry to pause again already, but holy crap, so many things are happening in just this, like, 2-minute section of the episode. Holy crap. I'll come back and talk about it later, but, like, the fire in Qifrey's eye just now, like, oh man, I love it when they focus on Qifrey's, like, the black side of his glasses. Color to the world. I hope that's true. Oh, and it's even more interesting because Qifrey's, like, whole design is black and white, you know, like, no color. I mean, I guess he has, like, a few, I think, like, gold embellishments, and, like, his eyes are colored, but you get what I mean. It's twisty. Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, can we just fly through and, oh, dang, okay, nope, we cannot just do that, apparently. Oh, good job! Good catch. Wait, that's so fascinating. I mean, I'm glad we have this guy with us. He knows what's going on. They must be, which is very cool. Oh, something to watch out for. Okay. Oh, interesting. Oh. Okay. Gotcha, so the water should be able to help you identify. Yep, okay. Nice job, Agate! Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. I wonder what Riche's going to do with these worthless spells. Huh. I'm assuming this is her previous master, right? Oh. Throw them out. Oh. Interesting. That looks like, I'm pretty sure that was the master who her brother learned from, because I remember in the previous episode there was like that flashback with her brother and we see her saying like, I think she says like don't go or something, and then there's like a quick flash of him with I think it was this guy. So that's interesting. I wonder what happened to her brother. Oh, he's like, is so watery. Oh, he's so cute. He said, Oh, he's just a baby. They're cute little mannerisms. I think Agate's already been won over. Okay. Oh, that mimics their cries. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I mean, what she's doing is working. I mean, she's right, though. I mean, she does have a point here. Oh ho ho. Okay, Riche. Yep, learn from your failures. Yep, failure is not necessarily a bad thing. Aww. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, she's not wrong. I mean, I do think that, like, it would be nice to see her become more open to doing things that are not necessarily, like, quote-unquote, her way or what she wants to do. But at the same time, she's not necessarily wrong for wanting to try things that are her own magic. You know, I feel like in some ways, Riche kind of reminds me of Coco in that she seems pretty creative. Because if you're gonna not go by the book, you kind of have to be creative. You have to find creative ways to still come up with a solution that's not the quote-unquote right solution. So I think that in some ways, Riche wanting to be her own person and not go by the book and not do what's quote-unquote the right spell, I think that is a strength for her. But I think in some ways it's also a weakness because then she doesn't work on areas that she's maybe weaker in. So in this instance, she's not necessarily wrong, but I do hope she can still open her mind to perhaps things like, you know, working on spells that she maybe doesn't think she needs to learn, you know. But I get what she's saying here, and fair enough. Tells me every day. You can't. Aww. I feel so bad for this guy. Oh. Oh, yeah, wait, that's tough. Because if you try to fly, you get disoriented. Other witches. Oh, wait, what do you mean? Coco, wait, don't go by yourself! Oh, careful, 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 please be careful. Is it a brimmed cap? I want girl. Oh my god, she's gonna fall off that cliff. Oh my god, it's that one. I was about to say, it's that one, isn't it? The one with like no oh my god, okay. Please stay right next to Qifrey and do not run off on your own anywhere. Okay, yeah. Oh, wait, what? That's so cool. Oh, come on, little buddy. Oh my gosh, wait, holy crap. Yo, let's go, Riche. That's so legit. To something you can, yeah, I mean, that's true. Fair enough. I feel like that's actually a good piece of advice for him. Since he believes he can't do it. Oh. Oh, so cool, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh. Dang. Oh, careful! We're good! We're fine, baby. We're chilling. Aww. Oh, I feel so bad for this kid, man. Aww. I like how the Mirfan's like, is he okay? Because his hands are too shaky. Aww. Aww. I feel so sad for him. Ooh, you know what this reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Agate's flashback where there were all those like pens that were becoming eyeballs and like watching her and judging her and scrutinizing her. Kind of reminds me of that. You need a better master, my dude. Aww. He's the right answer spells in advance. I wish I could stop being me. Oh, we're seeing his eyes for the first time. Oh, poor kid. Oh, Riche. Then be alone right now. Oh. Oh, Riche's so cute. It makes so much sense why his hair is like over his eyes now too. There you go. That's something. Hey. Give him a minute. Come on, you got this. No, you got this. You got this. That works. That works. They are not laughing. No. Unlike your master, they're not all assholes here. Aww. Come on, you got this. Exactly, yep. Is yourself. Oh, well, look at that visual too. Oh. Ah. You got this, you got this, you got this. Take a deep breath. Yup, there you go. Nice. Oh, it's so cool to see his eyes finally, too. Aww. Little Mirfan. Nope, it's all part of the plan. No, it's fine. This is his spell. Oh, I love that he's got his own spell. Let's go. Oh, wait, that's so cool. Oh, well, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. Aww. He's like, where'd you go? Oh, he's so cute! Oh, I love seeing him so happy. That's right, buddy. Come this way. Good job, bud. Oh, what? That's so cool. He's riding it like a broom. Oh my gosh. I love him. What a precious bean. Oh. Oh, I'm so happy for him. Oh. Aw. I'm so happy that Riche encouraged him. Aw. Yeah. Is he gonna thank her? Aw, yeah. A better version of myself. I mean, fair enough. Along it are all different. Yeah, it was really cool to see all of their unique solutions. Yup. I actually really like what she just said because Riche is all about, like, I don't want to follow a specific path. And this test does require you to follow the path. Like, if you stray off of it, you're probably going to get lost, but you can follow the path in your own way. And I think that's sort of the distinction that Riche is maybe missing a little bit, you know, like you can still be yourself even if you follow a certain path or like a path that other people are following. I'm still gonna be mad. I mean, you know what? That's valid, girl. Angry Riche point, angry Riche. Oh my god, what? But why? Why? Oh, I thought they wanted Coco. What are they doing here? Holy, is that like an alert to let Qifrey know? Oh my god. What? Excuse me? Oh, okay. Wow. Holy. I was not expecting that. I thought they were gonna go for Coco. Where did it take her? Oh my god. Oh my gosh, forbidden magic. Holy dude. Oh my god. I hope she's okay. Like, where the heck did she go? Where did they take her? And also, how is that thing able to, like, be here? I guess probably using some sort of forbidden magic, you know, because everybody else who has strayed off the path has gotten, like, disoriented and lost, but that thing's just, like, floating. So I'm guessing some sort of forbidden magic is what's allowing it to just be chillin'. But, like, holy crap, like, how did it get here? Where did it come from? Did it just come up behind us? Like, I really thought that it was here for Coco. Like, I assumed that that thing was gonna be going after Coco. It does look like Elira was able to shoot off some sort of, like, alert, though, so I'm assuming Qifrey will know, which, oh boy, assuming that is an alert, it's going to be really interesting to see what Qifrey does and how he reacts when he gets that alert. I really hope that because I'm assuming, like, he doesn't know for a fact that the alert is for the brimmed caps, right? I wouldn't think so. I'm assuming it's just an alert, like something has gone wrong. So I really hope that Qifrey doesn't like leave Coco and Tetia behind, thinking that it's like some sort of other emergency, because that would definitely give the brimmed caps an opportunity to come grab Coco. So I really hope that Qifrey does not leave the two of them alone outside of the cave. If, though, one thing that I am curious about, if Qifrey does assume that it is the brimmed caps, then I'm very curious what his reaction will be, because we've seen how he gets when it comes to the brimmed caps. So if he's able to kind of like put two and two together, the fact that Coco saw someone earlier and the fact that there's now like kind of an emergency alert from Elira, if he is able to be like, oh crap, I think there might be brimmed caps here, I'm so curious how he's going to react to that. That's going to be fascinating to see. Anyways, though, let's go ahead and talk about the episode a little bit more in depth. So first, I just want to talk about like this whole backstory of this cave. And one thing that I think is actually so fascinating and a bit ironic is the way that Qifrey kind of talks about how the people of Romonon started to look down on like outsiders. But interestingly enough, and this is where it's sort of ironic to me, the people of Romonon are actually physically underneath the people of the outside world, right? Because the people of Romonon are living like underground, which puts them physically beneath the people of the outside world, even though they viewed the people of the outside world as being beneath them, as being less than them. And once again, ironically, that's like the very thing that led to their ruin. So just kind of interesting. Like I appreciate the contrast between people who were like physically beneath other people looking down on those same people, you know, not that like the physical location of where you are makes you better or worse than somebody, but again, it's like an interesting sort of juxtaposition between the people of Romonon's philosophy versus like the physical positioning of those two things, of the people of Romonon and the people of the outside world. I just think that's really cool, you know, like that's a really cool tidbit. And also, again, this whole story is just so fascinating to me. I love this first visual, you know, but like again, you know, we're literally going from up to underneath. But also so cool. I will say this is so freaking cool. Like the gold, like the grand architecture, clad themselves in magical gold works of art. And it's so interesting to see like this kind of gold liquid like dripping down. They thought of themselves as a better breed than the nations outside, and how fascinating to see this guy like looking up. Again, it's like he's looking down on him and look down on those who visited them. Yup. That's so interesting. And you know what? Actually, this kind of like depiction reminds me of it's like a gold liquid. Kind of reminds me of ichor, which in Greek mythology, that's the blood of the gods. Like the blood of the gods is supposed to be golden. So it kind of reminds me of that. And interestingly, the blood of the gods, ichor, is said to be poisonous to mortals. So it's kind of fascinating that these people, you know, sort of saw themselves, I feel like, as gods, as better than their fellow mortals. And yet this kind of winds up being the exact poison that leads to their ruin. So that's very cool. Like, get off your high horses, you know, you're not gods. You're human beings, just like the rest. Wore their arrogance on their sleeves. They thought of themselves as a better breed than the nations outside. Yep, look down on those who visited them. And I mean, I also really like the contrast in the clothing here. Like, you know, again, this guy looks all high and mighty with his gold embellishments and his gorgeous, like, all white attire. You know, like he believes he's like the embodiment of like this pure god or something like that. And then this guy who looks kind of shabbier and is wearing like this regular brown cloak, and more travelers from the surface came to visit, and, you know, once again, from the surface, from above, they deemed a benefit to their society. And once again, so fascinating. This is kind of cool too, because it reminds me a little bit of snake scales, like not quite the same shape, but it's kind of cool. Created the serpent back road. Only the worthy could travel. Who could not traverse the road could never reach Romonon. And wow, this is so fascinating. Kind of reminds me of like bars of a jail cell or something, you know, like all of these people are imprisoned in the cave trying to get out. The cave with a maze spell. And oh, I will say, this is really beautiful. Like, the architecture of this place is gorgeous, I gotta say. Ever more beautiful and prosperous. It's people ever more haughty and exclusive. They let it all go to their heads. Until one day, when the Romonons begin to turn their judgment on each other, and I love this judgment scale. This is so cool. I like how I think this is supposed to be like the tip of a pen, which is very cool. Like, what a fascinating way to depict that. Because I mean, I'm assuming that they would have turned each other to gold and you know, made the cave into a maze by using magic, you know, so that's very cool that it's like the tips of pens as part of the judgment scale. I didn't notice that when I was watching it just now, but that's a very, very nice detail. Those deemed to be without merit were forced to exchange their flesh and blood, so we're living in basically like a meritocracy, sounds like. And I also, you know, now that I'm looking at it, this is also really cool that it's kind of like on top of these rocks, you know, because we saw like the rock structures in the cave. Those deemed to be without merit were forced to exchange their flesh and blood. That is so insane. Okay, yeah, and through magic. So yeah, once again, really cool that it's like the tip of a pen is what it looks like to me, at least. Be turned into gold statues to decorate their city. Like, bro, that is insane. And something that is also really fascinating about this is this kind of bar here reminds me of the bar from earlier where I was saying kind of looks like a prison cell or something. And again, it's like, it's kind of ironic because these people sort of wound up imprisoning themselves with their philosophy. Just as stagnant water becomes foul. The closed-off Romonon society became plagued by malaise. And then we have this gigantic judgment scale. Oh, internal feuding made its people tired and weak. Yup. And then we see the building crumbling. Oh, wow. That's such a fascinating backstory. Wow. The end, it is said it collapsed under the weight of its own gold. I love that too. Like when I think of gold, I mean, you kind of think of greed. So it's like the weight of its greed, the weight of its arrogance, the weight of its twisted philosophy. Once again, there's so much irony in all this because it's like these people who thought they were like the best in the world, like a better breed than other people. Like that's the very philosophy that wound up leading to their own ruin. These people who looked down on everyone else wound up in this state, you know, like, oh, that is so good. That is so good. That is such a cool lore for this cave. Oh my gosh, I loved that. That was incredible. And then I also, again, like qifrey's just spitting facts right now. Humans are terrifying creatures. Yup. We definitely can be. It kind of reminds me of in Hunter x Hunter, there's a line that Netero says, which is something to the effect of, I pulled it up, it's like translated differently depending on like what you're watching or where you're watching it. So I guess more of like the fan translation say you understand nothing of humanity's infinite potential for evolution, but the like official translations say you know nothing of the bottomless malice within the human heart. So kind of reminds me of that. And then equally terrifying is how few of us realize what we're capable of. Kind of reminds me actually of the Milgram experiment. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. I'll go over it in just a moment, but I really feel like qifrey's dialogue here, I feel like he's absolutely right. I think people want to think they're better than they actually are. And in truth, like most of us are probably capable of worse things than we like to think. And the Milgram experiment is a perfect example of this. I am going to just pull up a Wikipedia article on it and probably read from it because I feel like I always get lost when I try to explain this. I'm not very good at explaining experiments on the spot. But basically this study was like kind of looking at the concept of obedience and authority. And I think it was actually specifically because they kind of wanted to understand a little bit better, like how people in Nazi Germany could commit such atrocities. And so was born the Milgram experiment. And once again, I'm just going to kind of read to you guys what it was. Really quickly though, before we dive into it, I just want to preface this by saying that this obviously does not absolve anyone of responsibility for their actions, which this will all make a lot more sense once I actually explain the experiment. But yeah, I mean, you can't really be like, Yes, I was just following orders when I participated in that genocide. So, to be clear, I am not at all defending that. We're kind of a small community at the moment, and I feel like you guys usually get what I'm saying. But as we grow, I fear there will be that one person who just willfully misinterprets everything, who will be like, oh, so you think genocide is fine as long as you're following orders? And no, that's not what I'm saying. The only reason I am bringing up this experiment is because I think it is relevant to what Qifrey is saying, and because I think it gives some interesting insights into humanity and how we relate to social constructs such as authority figures. But at the end of the day, I think we are still responsible for our own actions, regardless of whether or not we were following orders from an authority. Again, that will all make sense once I explain the Milgram experiment. Okay, so the Milgram experiments was a series of social psychology experiments that were conducted by Yale University psychologist Stanley Milgram, and he intended to measure the willingness of study participants to obey an authority figure who instructed them to perform acts conflicting with their personal conscience. So basically, participants were led to believe that they were assisting in a fictitious experiment in which they had to administer electric shocks to a quote-unquote learner. These fake electric shocks gradually increased to levels that would have been torturous had they been real. So they weren't actually like administering legitimate electrical shocks to the learner, but they thought they were. So in the first version of the study, the learner could be heard banging on the wall at 300 volts and 315 volts and then falling silent. The experiments unexpectedly found that a very high proportion of subjects would obey the instructions, with every participant going up to 300 volts and 65% going up to the full 450 volts. But yeah, just to give like a little bit more detailed of a recap of what the experiment actually looked like. So basically you'd have a teacher who was the subject that they were observing as part of the experiment, and then you'd have a learner who was actually an actor. And they would arrive to the session together, and the subject was sort of under the impression that they were, that they and the actor, again, they didn't know it was an actor, that they and the learner were taking part in a scientific study of memory and learning to see what the effect of punishment is on a subject's ability to memorize content. And the experimenter would also clarify to the participants that the payment for their participation in the experiment was secured regardless of its development. So the subject and actor drew slips of paper to determine their roles, like the subject didn't know this, but like both slips said teacher, and then the actor would be like, oh, mine says learner. So anyways, we've got our teacher and our learner. So the teacher and the learner would then be taken to an adjacent room where the learner was strapped into what appeared to be an electric chair. The experimenter, who was like sort of dressed in a lab coat to exude this air of authority, told the participants that this was to ensure that the learner would not escape. Another relevant piece of information is that at some point prior to the actual test, the teacher was given a sample electric shock from the electroshock generator in order to experience firsthand what the shock that the learner would supposedly receive would feel like. The teacher and learner were then separated so that they could communicate but not see each other. The teacher was then given a list of, word pairs that he was to teach the learner. The teacher began by reading the list of word pairs to the learner. Teacher would then read the first word of each pair and read 4 possible answers, and then the learner was supposed to press a button to indicate a response. The answer was incorrect. The teacher would administer a shock to the learner with the voltage increasing in 15-volt increments for each wrong answer. The volts ranged from 15 to 450, and the shock generator actually included verbal markings that ranged from slight shock to danger severe shock. So the teachers, the actual research subjects, believed that for each wrong answer, the learner was receiving actual shocks. But in reality, there were no actual shocks because the learner was an actor. But the learner would sort of simulate increased suffering for each level of pain from the shocks. After the learner was separated from the teacher, the learner set up a tape recorder integrated with the electroshock generator, which played previously recorded sounds for each shock level. And as the voltage of the fake shocks increased, the learner would begin making audible protests, such as, banging repeatedly on the wall that separated the learner from the teacher. And in one instance, there was even a learner who pled for mercy and yelled that he had a heart condition. And then when the highest voltages were reached, the learner would fall silent. If at any time the teacher indicated a desire to halt the experimenter was instructed to give specific verbal phrases, which were usually please continue or please go on. The experiment requires that you continue. It's absolutely essential that you continue. You have no other choice. You must continue the experiment. And then if the teacher asked whether the learner might suffer permanent physical harm, the experimenter would reply although the shocks may be painful, there's no permanent tissue damage, so please go on. And if the teacher said the learner clearly wants to stop, the experimenter would reply, whether the learner likes it or not, you must go on until he has learned all the word pairs correctly, so please continue. And the results were very interesting. So subjects were uncomfortable administering the shocks and displayed varying degrees of tension and stress, such as sweating, trembling, stuttering, biting their lips, groaning, digging their fingernails into their skin. Some were even having nervous fits of laughter. Every participant did pause the experiment at least once to question it, but most continued after being assured. Now, interestingly though, there is kind of a but to this. So important to note, I think I mentioned this already, but this Milgram and other psychologists subsequently later performed variations of the experiment throughout the world with similar results. However, Milgram later investigated the effect of the experiment's locale on obedience levels by using an unregistered backstreet office in a bustling city, in contrast to the respectable environments of Yale University. And the level of obedience in that setting dropped from 65% to 47%, suggesting that scientific credibility could very well play a larger role than just simply authority. A more telling variable was the proximity of the learner to the teacher. When they were in the same room, obedience level dropped to 40%. Another variation tested the subject's willingness to cooperate when part of a larger group. So yeah, all of this, I went through all of this to make the point that I think that some people are capable of more than they think they are. And I mean, in fairness, the average person probably has never encountered a moral dilemma as extreme as this one, but it just goes to show that you really don't know how you'll act until you're actually in that situation. Everyone kind of likes to think that they'd be, the outlier in a scenario like this, but based on the results, most people would not be. I'm sure if any of the subjects who participated in this experiment were instead just going over it like we are right now instead of being a participant, they would likely think that they're not capable of that. And I think it's also interesting to note that, these subjects weren't all psychopaths or anything, they displayed signs of discomfort and distress, but they still continued administering the shocks because they were told to by an authority figure. So yeah, I think under the right circumstances, people are absolutely capable of a lot more than they think they are. But, this also kind of gives me a lot of hope for the future of witch society, because Qifrey and his girls have been shown to go against authority, we've seen them actively stand up to the Knights Morales and stay true to what they believe is right rather than what an authority figure says is right. They do not just blindly obey. And mind you, I just want to clarify, this isn't me saying everyone's evil and we all suck. It's more so that I think, what we are and are not capable of, it's very complex and very nuanced, and I think very situationally dependent, and I think it's something where we can't really know what we're capable of until a certain thing is required of us, and we probably would find out in the moment. And I mean, in fairness, the Milgram experiments, it's very specific, there are very specific conditions, which is why I say, given the right conditions, I think people are capable of a lot more than they may think. But yeah, I like this line because I think it's very true. Equally terrifying is how few of us realize what we're capable of. I think it's something that people don't really like to think about too much or acknowledge too much because it's an uncomfortable thought, But this was a fascinating line to me, so I had to touch on it. And then we have, right after he says this line, We have Coco talking about how, you know, magic is supposed to exist to make people happy, right? And she's not wrong. That in an ideal world, that should be how it is. It's a power used to help people and bring color to the world. And this is also quite fascinating because I'm pretty sure in one episode, like that brimmed cap witch was talking about bringing color to the world and called it like a lie or something. I'll have to go back and check the exact quote, but witches of the future, yeah. I'm sure it will be. And they're so cute, but right after this, very interesting to see the fire reflected in the black side of his glasses. Like, it feels a bit ominous, it feels a bit sinister, you know? But I really hope that maybe Coco and the girls will sort of become like Qifrey's hope, you know, and allow him like some optimism for the world. But this is so fascinating. It just gives me the sense that Qifrey's been through a lot, you know? Even though we don't know much about him, it just, like, again, it kind of feels like his world is burning, or like he's on fire, or like that was, that's so interesting. That's so fascinating. And then, yeah, okay, I'm going back here. This is episode 8. I swear to God, this witch says something about, like, bringing color to the world being a lie. I wanna check the exact quote. Magic is a lie that fills the world with color. Okay. Though these hands may draw beautiful spells, look at how stained with ink they become. Okay, so I guess that's the exact quote. There you go. Actually, just kidding, not back to the episode, because I want to go back to Riche's flashback. So, like the one with her brother, which was in the previous episode. But first I want to see her backstory, which is right in here. So yeah, she has this teacher. Look at you drawing more of those worthless spells. You'll never become a proper witch like this, which what does that even really mean? Do what your master tells you. The ridiculous scribbles, throw them out. I don't want to. They're not scribbles. These are my spells, yep. I don't want to throw out who I am. So it seems like, yeah, her spells, like, she views them as very much tied to who she is as a person. So to not draw her spells makes her feel like it, like, invalidates who she is. Because here it's like, again, she says, I don't want to throw out who I am. It's not that she doesn't want to throw out, like, the spells that she loves or anything. It's, she sees that as who she is. So this was a really fascinating scene. Gives you a bit more context as to, like, why Riche is the way she is and why she has the philosophy that she does have. But that teacher, I'm pretty sure he's right here. So when her brother, where are you going? And I think that might be the same guy. So again, I'm like, what happened to her brother? I have so many questions. What happened to him? And did Riche, like, choose this guy to be her master because, I mean, I'm assuming probably because her brother also chose him, but yeah, I'm so curious, like, where is her brother now? And then, okay, I just have to say, I loved watching each person's unique solution to this problem. Like, and especially Riche's was so cool. I feel like she's all about the ribbons, so it was really cool to see her kind of, like, make a stone ribbon to cross. Like, that's so cool. Oh my gosh. I love that. And then to use the shoes in conjunction with the ribbon made of stone. Like, oh, and I love how it's flexible too, and the way it, oh my god, even the way it breaks is so beautiful. Like, that is so, so cool. And I do really appreciate Riche's unique solutions to problems. I think that's so awesome. I just think, like, again, I hope that she can kind of get to a point where she realizes, like, even though her spells are a big part of who she is, they are not the only thing that she is, you know, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to sort of expand your horizons, because I feel like the more knowledge you have, the more spells you can create that sort of, like, suit your tastes and suit you as a person, you know, like, you can still continue to do your own magic and create things that make you happy and that you feel are important, while simultaneously learning new material and kind of broadening your horizons a bit. But I love Riche. I love her magic. It is so, so, so cool, and I cannot wait to see more of what she can do. And then Agate's solution was also very cool, and I also love what she says. If there's something you can't do, change the method to something you can do. And she's right, like there doesn't have to be like one right answer to a problem, you know? I mean, obviously like some things kind of have an objective answer, like 2 + 2, but a lot of things are subjective, and you can sort of find your own creative solution to the problem. You can use you can use like your strengths to solve it, and I feel like this kind of resonates with him, and I'm so proud of him too. Like I love how Riche encouraged him in this episode, you know. And Agate's solution was also very, very cool. I love what Agate did, and I like how each solution is very it's very much them, you know? Like, this feels like an Agate solution. Riche's solution feels like a Riche solution with the ribbon. Yeah, a repetition and a replication spells, because we did that in the dragon episode. So this feels very much like an Agate solution. You know, I like how each solution kind of fits the person. And then, nope, she's chilling though. And then, oh, this guy, I feel so bad for him. I really hope that maybe after this whole test, that he'll perhaps have the confidence to choose a new master, you know? Because, I feel so terrible for this guy. Like, he just doesn't believe in himself at all. His hands are shaking, and it's like he just wants to be anybody but himself because he feels like such a failure. And like, dude, this guy just right here. I mean, I would be nervous too. Like, my hands would also be shaking if my master was like literally right here peeking over my shoulder. He's constantly telling me that I suck and that I'm a failure. Like, he's probably the one who, like, look at him. He's probably the one who made him this way. Makes me start to sweat and try. I mean, yeah, I do not blame him. And this guy's like, ugh, what a failure. Like, oh my god, his teacher sucks. And the spells turn out awful. And that just like shakes his confidence even more. But then when he's alone and he can concentrate, like, he's so good. He's got so much potential, you know? And this was so sad. Like, I wish I could stop being me, you know? That made me so sad. Like, he prepared, but then the test threw a curveball at him, and now he doesn't know what to do. Why am I always like this? And this is like, oh, this is such a powerful line. You said you want to be yourself. But I wish I could stop being me. I do love that we see his eyes in this episode too. And I feel like it really makes sense why he has this haircut that covers his eyes, because I mean, he even said like, I don't want people watching me. Like, when people are watching me, I get so nervous. So like the haircut really makes sense, but it's so nice to see his eyes in this episode. You know, like it finally feels like we're seeing the real person, you know, we're seeing him. And I feel like he took, you know, a step towards becoming himself and like appreciating himself more. So I feel like seeing his eyes is fitting, you know? Like he feels a little bit less, I think, like he needs to hide himself from the world. Like obviously he still feels more comfortable hidden, but I feel like Riche has given him a little bit of confidence in himself. Like, you know, he hates himself a little bit less. And I'm hoping that he'll maybe get to a point where he doesn't feel like he has to hide away from the world, you know? Because I feel like so much of his demeanor just says that he's like ashamed of his own existence, you know? And so being able to see his eyes, I feel like it's kind of like that's a little bit, that thought has lessened a little bit, and that's really nice to see. But I love Riche. I love what Riche says. You can do it. You know, just as you are, like, you don't have to change. There's certainly a solution that you can find that's unique to you. You can concentrate and draw when you're alone, then be alone right now. Like, I love what she says. Like, you do what you can do. Do what works for you. And she's so right. Like, she's so valid for that, you know? Again, like, each person's gonna have a unique solution to a problem. And I love the solution that he comes up with. And oh, it's so sad how he's in here. He's like, I'm so pathetic. They're probably laughing at me. They're probably disgusted by me. But, like, he's actually around like normal freaking humans who are not like that, you know? Like he's not surrounded by assholes, but he doesn't even know what it's like to not be surrounded by assholes, it seems like. And it's like so nice, like it must be so reassuring for him when he peeks out of this and realizes like people are not ridiculing him, people don't think he's stupid, people are not judging him in the way his shitty master does. And she's just watching him, like, you got this, you know? Like, you do your thing, you know? They're not laughing, yeah. And it's so sad that that's like a foreign concept to him. Like, no one's disgusted or laughing or making fun of me. Like, wow, that's weird. That's so sad. I love his solution though. I love the solution that he comes up with. Like, it's really cool too. Like, he looks he looks so cool. And I like how at first she's like, oh my Jesus, that is a monster, but nope. We just have our own unique solution. So cool. Like, that is such a cool spell. I love that. And I love how he even thought of like the Mirfon and was like, well, it can't see me, but I have a spell that can mimic the call. So smart. And look at how cute he is. He's so precious. Please get this kid a new master. Like, I just want the best for him. He's so sweet. He's such a sweetheart. And this is so cool. Like, look how happy he looks. He looks like he's finally enjoying, like, the whole process of, look at how happy he is. That's so cool, too, that he's riding it like a broom. But you're doing what works for you, and that's valid. That is so valid. Like, look at how happy I am so happy. Like, this made me so happy. Aww. And I love Riche so much in this episode. Oh my gosh. Oh, a little less. I mean, you know, baby steps. And Riche, my girl, my freaking girl. Oh my gosh. W Riche, massive W. And then, okay, this was crazy. Obviously, we have to talk about this ending scene because holy crap. Like, I at least have to go over it one more time because this is so insane. That's so funny, an angry checkpoint. Speaking of qifrey, and then, holy, like, it just manifests behind her. That is oh my god. That is so insane. The brimmed caps, like, what is, oh my god. Oh, damn, and who, did Elira cast this spell to block that? Like, who casted that? Was she able to block it? Because I'm thinking that maybe somehow Elira was able to do this because it doesn't look like anybody else was expecting this. And earlier she cast a wind spell as well when she thought that he was like transforming into some monster or something. So and then, yeah, I'm assuming that's an alert, like an emergency alert, like something has gone wrong. Don't listen to anything they say. Don't be led astray. Run away I mean, I don't know how fast we can run in this place, but... And I mean, he's gone, though. Like, can we run back? Is there a way for us to go backwards? I feel like we're not that far into the test. Dang. Oh my god. I mean, I'm glad at least the brimmed cap isn't effing with any of our test takers, with Riche or Agate, or is it like Uni? I gotta double check his name. Okay, so it's like Uni? I don't actually know how to say it, but anyways, that's his name. It's like Euini. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they are all untouched, but also, like, where the fuck is Elira? Where did they take her? That's crazy. Okay, anyways, I think that's all I wanted to discuss for this episode. But oh my god, phenomenal episode. I love every episode of Witch Hat Atelier. This series is so, so good. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye! Alrighty, and as always, it is time now for our Legend tier shoutouts. So, shout out to Abel Dark Rider, Savior of Nirn, Gabriel Vise, Ramune Ram, and Ryan. Thank you all so, so much for being absolute freaking legends. I do appreciate it. And on to the rest of the shoutouts.